Brian. All right, so
Hacking the board.
I literally news. So I literally just said the F-bomb so loud that my wife's like, "What is going on in there?" And it was like a good thing. World of Warcraft just delayed Shadowlands. I could not be more thrilled. I know that tomorrow all of YouTube's going to be like, haha, Dreamhaven stole 40 people and that crushed Blizzard and they can't even get their game out on time. No, that is not why they have PTRs.
All
the
right.
same way we praise 14 for delaying 5-3, the same way that I'm thrilled Boja is, we thought it was going to be like the 29th and now it's like October 13th. This is good, guys. This is CD Projekt Red territory. We're talking about delays, man. That's the news of the day. It's the WoW post is the straw that broke the camel's back. How do you feel about delays?
So, delays are a double-edged sword with anything in the regards. Like when you brought up like 5-3, that still sucked. Like when you brought up like delays aren't fun. However, like they're not fun in the context of something then being, delivering and not like delivering. If it does deliver, then it's like, well, if it didn't, it ultimately kind of would be left unsatisfied. But to set like some context to catch everybody up on speed, because this is literally, I was like, dude, like we
already published today.
We're publishing again. Double post today, guys. Unexpected. But I saw like, hey, I didn't even see that it was delayed. I was like, hey, Chris, it looks like the pre-patch for WoW is on the 13th. And we were talking before even filming our morning video, and I was telling him, well, my plan for the 13th is the Bojin front. Like I am going to dive into this relic. We just talked about the relic system. The 13th is the plan. And I said, my worst case scenario is if pre-patch is on the 13th, I'm not going to be able to touch it at that point. I'm going to have to at least wait, a couple days. Maybe we can play it on Saturday because we've been playing games on Saturday on stream. Just FYI, Twitch. Whatever, who cares? Now here we are, and we're looking at not just a delay, but we don't even have a date. So it's one of those indefinite ones. And to set some, also just kind of a thing, because you might not have heard about it. I'm sure somebody's going to mention it in the comments because you mentioned CD Projekt Red. They promised no crunch, but they have reneged on that promise. So trying to hit this date. Wishing them luck. I'm excited for Cyberpunk. But
if they need to delay, just delay.
Right.
Like, it's the year of like there are so many big things going on in the world, and there are so many things much more tragic than a game not coming out on time.
Yeah.
Like, just keep yourself safe, make the product you're going to be proud of, give us something to enjoy. We're still going to be home when it comes out because none of us have ever left. Like, just take your time.
I'm just sitting in this room.
Yeah. Like, I had a package delayed this week, and they were like, well, we're moving it back a day. Are you going to be there? Yeah, I'll be here. Where would I go?
I don't have any plans. got a wide open calendar.
What time were you thinking? Because I was planning on being here 24/7.
So I feel in a weird way, like obviously from I think a seat of privilege, and I'm going to bring that up because I have a lot of games that I'm really enjoying right now. So if they said if CD Projekt Red called me up and said, Brian, we're thinking about delaying, is that okay with you? And if I had that ungodly power, I would be tempted to delay it, especially if it made the game just that much more impactful on release, right? Because all of a sudden we saw Destiny get pushed out. We see, Final Fantasy get delayed. We're now seeing WoW getting delayed. It's like, this is what is happening as a part of it. But then I also look at, I still got Dancer to level up. I still have all these other things to do. And honestly, it's you telling me I think Blizzard here, I want to kind of focus in on them as a company and why I think this is significant, because I have said this, you and I have had lots of conversations, me and the entire workforce, like within Discord have talked about this, is that I wish companies would have the, excuse the expression, the balls to delay. And because time and time again, when they don't, and it falls like flat on their face, everybody's like, oh gosh, I wish they would have just looked at the tea leaves, just looked at what the community was saying. And
Months of feedback.
And this is a case where, at least when I'm seeing on, like when I see Scott Zone actually tweeting this on, like tweeting about it, when I see Skill Up, everybody's saying like, we kept telling you guys it wasn't ready. This is them actually listening and responding to the community, which is great. Obviously, like the whole Dreamhaven thing is a conversation that I think, we kind of talk about it. I don't know if you guys are interested in it. Comment below Dreamhaven discussion. And if there's
a co-founder of Blizzard started his own gig, there is brain drain there, but like it's not that big of a company, guys. Like Activision Blizzard is huge. So like even if he takes literally the best people and all of the best people, he's got like 40 spots.
But
like it.
But let's talk about this for just a brief second, because regardless of any kind of major impact on Blizzard's going to be fine. Yeah. But essentially, what people have craved even when we were out at a BlizzCon and people talk about Morhaime and his influence and his impact and that mindset. A lot of people, even myself included, feel like this might be Blizzard 2.0.
Could be.
Sans Activision. And honestly, all I'm doing is just rooting for them to make amazing games, because then we get to play and talk about amazing games. Anyway,
I'm rooting for them.
Rooting for them. No delays there.
Out there.
No delays to announce in there. They don't have any games.
I want everybody to put out a good game.
Yeah. Always.
Always.
I'm really rooting for this game to be bad. Like, are you? Anyway.
Awesome.
I think this is a significant show and a positive thing that Blizzard could do. Yoshi P did it with Final Fantasy XIV with that. And what Yoshi P did, which is really significant, and he talked about this in an interview, saying that the reason you'll see with 5.4, it's not lacking any of the content. Rather than try to get back up to speed, they've just said, yeah, we've already got that content planned. We're not going to start cutting content. We're just going to have it shift out. And that's just obviously due to the world and the way that it is here in 2020. So I think at this point, if it's if you have one big game that you're excited about and COVID's not going on, etc., I think those delays have a bigger impact on you. But it's not like this is an isolated incident. In this case, it feels like Blizzard, rather than ramming it down everybody's throat to hit a date, which I think cost a lot of money regarding market significance. You talk about you got a Halo. You had a Halo Cup.
They said we had 2 pre-patches and we only have 4 Tuesdays left.
Mm-hmm.
What is the math on that? Like, how are you even getting feedback from those?
Yeah. Did that work? How's the adjustment need to be?
So part 1 is going to be like all these massive changes that could literally redefine the genre.
Right.
Whether you guys like WoW or not, because this post really comes down to do we support game developers when they delay? Mm-hmm. It's an action that they can take. They can all come out and say, we want to make a good product. We want to treat our team well. Those are all words. And that's what we have sometimes. But action is where we see the pavement, right? That's where we see the rubber hit the road. And the only action with Shadowlands was the launch date. There hasn't been a game to play. So we only have the one action to judge everything by. And pushing that out is a very bad first step. And I love that they're kicking that back. It's absolutely respectful of everything we're doing here. I've left dozens of tickets and all I can think is, how are they going to do this? So they're going to revamp the entire new player system. There's a whole new leveling system. This could change the way MMOs age when they start to have 3, 4, 5, 35 expansions, where a new player comes in and says I have to read 27 books, 18 comics, watch 35 hours of movies, 12 TV shows, catch up on 5 blogs, and then I'm allowed to ask questions. It's impossible to catch up in these games. And for those of us that have been in these games the whole time, we talk about it here in 14. You and I have been playing since ARR. ARR was great during ARR.
Yeah.
How do you and I go back and judge now? We can go back and play it. That still doesn't give us the new player experience, because we're going to play through it knowing what it ends as, which is, spoiler alert, good. They don't have that. The new players don't have that confidence. They're like, no, they could totally be screwing with me.
What actually works real well in this case is, because let's say there are issues on the 13th, I won't be playing that anyway because I got 14. Honestly, I think this ends up helping my whole balance together. It's weird that they didn't have a specific date, and honestly, do you think it even makes 2020 at this point? Because it's going from late October. There's really only 2 months. You've already, just so everybody knows, this is if you don't know how the bread is made, vacations are scheduled. There's all kinds of things that these people have Thanksgiving off, the Christmas holiday off. That's scheduled off. Yeah, otherwise, they would have to claw that back from them, and it's sometimes it's but I don't think they were going anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere, but still, it's I was planning on being off because the game would have been released by now. So in the cases when I've done this, I've actually as a VP in that situation, I've had to push back against the officer saying, my guys have got vacation. There's no way this is getting done.
There's no way. It'll miss the quarter.
It's going to miss the quarter, and we're going to have to
fiscal if your fiscal's in January.
We can talk about January. You know, like that was always my response. It's like, don't be adding its scope to the end of this. It's not ready. This is when it will be ready. And the reason why is November and December are crap months. Some development teams take off completely for a couple of weeks during the holidays because if I need something from you, Chris, and you're on vacation, and I'm just sitting around doing nothing, might as well burn some PTO. You know, that was always my thing. It's like, let's just shut this thing down from
and the whole
the end of
world
December.
Have Thanksgiving, right? That's a United States thing. So for anybody that's watching elsewhere, our holiday season starts really kind of late November, and people begin taking off pretty much from then through the end of the year. That's kind of the big window. School lets out. There's a bunch of we got a big federal holiday. Then we go up on Christmas and all of that, and there's a federal holiday there. So and this year I think they both fall on I think New Year's Eve and Christmas both fall on a Friday.
Yeah.
So people are going to very easily be able to take 4 days of PTO and just have this huge vacation. So this year of all years, especially with COVID and everything else, where nobody's had to take PTO because if they've been sick, they've just stayed home and worked.
Yeah.
So unless they're really sick. So there's no way anybody was planning on working through the holiday season this year, especially if they're in a part of the country where it's safe to I don't know, eat on a patio somewhere. It's no, I don't working. This is the first time I've been allowed to sit in a chair that I don't own. So I think for me, this comes down to so they put out a letter, and this letter, it's all good talk. If this was coming from Yoshi P, this feels very heartfelt here for how brief it is. But it basically says over the last several months of testing, the one paragraph that really stands out to me, we've made significant progress iterating on and polishing the core features of gameplay of Shadowlands. We're at the point where the zones, the campaign, the level up questing experience, the story we have to tell are all essentially ready to share. We're excited by the Covenant to the heart of the expansion. It's been a thrill to see Torghast take shape into a fun and new kind of WoW experience, thanks in no small part to your input. Unlike Final Fantasy XIV, there is a public test realm in World of Warcraft, and it could be a whole topic in itself, whether or not that makes one game stronger than the other. But ultimately, because of the way content is structured in World of Warcraft, PTR is a huge part of that feedback loop, and they put stuff out for players, and then they iterate and they iterate. And Torghast is basically their version of Deep Dungeon times 1,000. Imagine if we had ultimate Deep Dungeon Bozja, it's with a triple triad system on top. It's a huge amount deeper than Deep Dungeon, and it in no small part is probably learned from Deep Dungeon and other similar systems, but it's changed a lot. They have changed it massively directly because of player feedback. They said, hey, we were kind of thinking this. How are you guys oh, you're not liking that? Well, we had this other idea. And it's changed a lot. And so there's this huge bug list. And my concern was, are they just going to push it out with bugs, right? Are we going to have that kind of Raubon Extreme moment when BFA and Shadowbringers both had smooth launches? Is Shadowlands the one that's going to break the trend?
Yeah. I'd also put this into contrast, as a release, Avengers. I've had and struggled with being able to get to cap in that game due to many different bugs. We've seen even progress being deleted from certain platforms with Avengers, and they just pushed out another update for Xbox and PlayStation players. And so I have, what I've enjoyed from that game is still also married with the issues that are plaguing it, but as a games as a service, it becomes something different. It's not like a single player, here's your experience, it's done, and there's nothing that's going to alter that, right? It's a game that evolves and changes and adds content, and there's strengths to that. So it becomes this weird position in which that I haven't sat down to review it. I've only in weird ways been stressed by just the amount of content in games that I have to play. And that is weird. That's a balance that as a content creator, I have to sit back and say, okay, Brian, I don't need to make that video. I don't need to sit here and make a video. I can share my thoughts on a live stream. I could share my thoughts with my friends and then see if it's fixed. And if it then doesn't get fixed and it needs to be discussed, then bring it more to the forefront. But that's kind of another game that I was like, when you guys, if y'all saw my highlights in which that it's just bug after bug after bug, it's like, gosh, I wish. That was me sitting down saying, I wish Square Enix would actually delay this, but that becomes a bigger thing all in all because you've got that marketing campaign. You got on a video just a couple days ago, you pulled out your little Halo can't. Like, it's like, yeah, like
Yeah.
they've already paid to have Halo codes mailed out on
I've
these.
been, and I've been getting Shadowlands ads on like YouTube and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I mean, they paid for all that. That was all planned, and now they've either got to do it again or go without. Yeah.
What do you think
It's a
they do?
big
What do you
deal.
think? What do you think they do in this situation? Like, do you think that their marketing budget just is like, well,
So I think you shift so that they're breaking pre-patch into 2 parts this time instead of just one. So the first part's going to be all these drastic system changes that I think are really good for the health of the game and actually
that
could.
includes a controller, right?
Yeah,
That's
so
my
that'll be
plan.
your controller support, your new leveling, the new starting zones, and all the new character customizations. They're not. I don't think they're getting a butt slider, so they're really still not better than 14. But it's like they are getting closer to kind of 14 with the amount of customization options they're coming out with. They're really changing it up. So I think anybody who's like left their character since like my druid is like the original druid since like 2004. It's like, yeah, but the new torrents look really good. So like I've been really impressed with kind of what they showed off. I don't know how much of that's going to be implemented. They showed some of it off at BlizzCon last November, and so it was really impressive how much better like Worgen I got, and like the Undead were one of the ones that I was really impressed by what they could put forward. And so there's all that'll be ready, but then there's a second pre-patch, and that's actually the pre-patch that gets everybody hyped.
Okay.
That's the event, right? That's what brings us in. You know, you picture like 1.0 kind of coming to an end, like the everything coming down and crashing. They have these big spectacles of one-time only events leading us into the next expansion every time, and you get to go do it and be part of it and beckon in the new expansion. That comes historically like a couple weeks out, and so that date hasn't been announced, because when that date announces,
Then you'll know when the release.
that'll all.
date, yeah.
And so I think you just lean into, and you very quickly try to get the cinematic team to make some trailers around that, and you just say, come back, it's time, let's beckon in, let's go into the Shadowlands.
All right. Well, thanks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed kind of our reaction to the Shadowlands delay news in context of everything that's coming up. Tomorrow, Star Wars Squadrons, not delayed. I'm going to be playing that, so hopefully you'll come hang out and check it out. I might do it a little bit on Twitch. We'll see what my day looks like.
Are you totally prepped for Bosha?
I am totally prepped for Bosha. The only thing I have to level, I'm finishing up Dancer a little bit, but I still have a little bit of time, which is nice.
Plenty of time.
And plenty of time. And then I'm sitting on Bard. Bard is going to be leveled 100. Bard's leveled 100% through Bosha. I don't think we need to spin the wheel unless you want to be like, unless we have some kind of.
No, I don't even remember what it was on.
I'll look at the video.
What was it on? Token.
Yeah, the token. Hey, perfect concept. We'll be talking. Chris and I'll be talking about the WoW token and the concept within 14 in a future video.
EVE Online's token. I mean, plenty of games
Yeah,
have
yeah.
tokens.
Oh, yeah.
But the question has always been like, what's the use for Gil, and would a token fix it, or would a token ruin the game?
Yeah. Anyhow, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. Thanks for watching For Work to Game. My name is Brian.
My name's Chris.
Thank you so much. Hopefully you have a great day. And if you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments. We'd like to hear from you. Thank you. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks.